So, what I'm going to do is go back like Phineas J. Whoopi in the time machine. I'm going to dial back to the era of the silent hand. The JAL Entertainment Group presents the real-life story of the family where it all began and to this day continues through this dramatically told film franchise entitled The Silent Hand, and that's just a working name for now. Of Volume 1. Louis XVI was a 15-year-old when he married the beautiful Austrian princess Marie Antoinette. At 19 years of age, he became the King of France, and his people looked to him for strong leadership. I mean, his dad had been one of the best kings in the history of French royalty. And you know how that turned out. Well, this is the guy that caused it to turn out that way, all right, between you and me. But, you know, they're looking to him for strong leadership, but instead they found the weak man, an indecisive king who second-guessed every decision he ever made. In 1791, during the French Revolution, he attempted to escape after he'd been dethroned. He tried to escape the country and make an alliance with an enemy of France. Now, history will tell us that he was captured and in 1793 met his end. He got his head chopped off at the guillotine. But what history doesn't talk about very often is that the kings of Europe were expected to have a queen and bear children with that queen, and marriages were often forged, you know, based on power and alliances instead of love or even mutual attraction. To compensate the king for this situation, these arranged marriages, the king was allowed to have numerous concubines, and Louis pursued this option with a fervor. The end result of one of these tolerated liaisons was to have a huge impact on America about 150 years later. André de la Warre was born just prior to the revolution that claimed the life of his father, the king, with one of these concubines. And through an amazing series of events, this young lad was allowed to live. He and his mother were spirited away from the south of France and finally settled on the Isle of Sicily. The extraordinary story of the de la Warre family does not end there. That young man grew up married and bore offspring. So we go now right into The Silent Hand, Volume 2. Early in the 20th century, there was a great influx of immigrants from Italy to the United States, and one of the immigrants to pass through the Ellis Island was the great-great-grandson of André de la Warre, the bastard child of the king. And his name was Sal Lucania, but you may know him better by his Americanized name, that of Charles Lucky Luciano. The opportunities offered in the land of opportunity were much scarcer than advertised, but young Charles was able to create opportunities by turning to street crime, and it didn't take him long to realize that there was a better, more powerful way to make crime pay. If he could just work his way into the rackets and make his mark. He met a guy who helped fix the 1919 White Sox scandal. One Arnold Rothstein. And that helped make young Lucky succeed beyond his wildest dreams. So now, for the first time ever, the truth is revealed about the American La Cosa Nostra. The shocking revelations exposed in this movie will undoubtedly cause a massive shift in the world's understanding of these men of respect and honor, as for the first time, from an actual living member of the nearly extinct Delaware clan, the truth is revealed and the real villains are exposed. Listen, find out about the real family behind the movie, The Godfather. And don't miss the epic that Uncle Sam doesn't want you to see or know about. And the real reason that an alleged gangland hit was staged. I'm the executive producer that attempted to film this movie as a documentary some 40 years ago. The ending of the second installment shows in a photo taken in Italy in 1961. Naples, I believe. The last of the great Dons. In fact, the man is none other than the legendary boss of bosses, the organizer of the original five families, as well as the infamously legendary Murder Incorporated. Now, in this rare family photo, with his faithful bodyguard by his side, the ultimate man of respect is shown holding in his arms a small baby boy. This small child, allegedly a blood relative, is none other than the alleged author of this dramatic franchise, and is at this very point and very time in his life is working on the sixth installment, which is not expected to be completed until 2022. Then the 2-year-old child in Uncle Charlie's hands in 1961 grows up, and Volume 3 begins. And I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you've enjoyed this story so far.